Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Austin High School Composition Concert for the 2020-2021 school year. It's an honor to be your host for tonight, and I am very excited for what we have to present to you this evening. But before we begin, I must go ahead and I must give a huge thank you to a few key people who made this event possible. First, I'd like to go ahead and I'd like to give a huge thank you to Rachel Santarelli from the Austin Symphony, who was our public relations as well as guest artist relations manager. Incredible person. This event would not be done without you. Thank you so much. Next up is Russell Podgorczyk from the University of Texas, who was the leader in the composition process, really aiding the students, just invaluable to everyone there. Incredible. Next up are two Austin Symphony members, Helen Cooper and Matthew Armbruster, who aided in the composition process as well as with the PR in relation to the Austin Symphony. Incredible people. Thank you so much for helping with us. Next up, we have Susan Maville from the Austin Symphony, who is the Director of Education as well as Community Engagement, who helped a lot with the PR department. Incredible, just flawless. Good job. Last, but certainly not least, we have Frank Jenkins, who is the Education and Community Engagement Manager at the Austin Symphony. Without these people, we would not be able to have this event tonight, so can we get a big round of applause for them? Without further ado, here's the concert. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Gabriel Herrera. I'm a junior in the Classical Academy at Stephen F. Austin High. The name of my piece is Injustice, and what inspired me to create Injustice was the actual reality of the news presenting a very different and shaky landscape in today's environment. The most difficult part in creating Injustice was rewriting, editing some of the parts of the piece so it could be interoperable to support the string quintet. What I really enjoyed the most about composing Injustice was listening to the final recording of my composition piece and seeing what I created. Seeing the final recording of my piece changed my view of composing and performing completely because it showed me how much time, work, and effort is needed to create a piece. The entire project itself showed me new skills that I have never used before, such as managing the players of my group and learning how to compose on computer software. The skills that I've obtained participating in this project will serve me in the future endeavors. I would like to take a moment to thank the Austin Symphony members along with the University of Texas School of Music professor for providing the educational guidance which was instrumental in providing my piece. I highly suggest that music programs across the country consider adopting this composition project model. During the development of the project, several elements were introduced to me, including leadership, communication, and organizational skills, as well as fostering my creativity. The project showed me there's more to music than just playing. While this project comes to an end, I've acquired these new skills to learn to apply to future projects. Music is a very powerful element which tells the story, triggers embedded human emotions deep inside all of us. It taps our love, emotion, and strengthens our inner core about what we care and hold true in our hearts. You listen and hear. This is my piece by Gabriel Herrera. Thank you.
My name is Adam Smykla, and I'm a junior in the Academy of Science and Innovation. The title of my piece is Thin Ice. After high school, I'm probably going to college, but I don't really know where. Just haven't decided, but I'm probably interested in engineering, so I think I'm going to do something in that field. Kind of the idea behind my piece was long high notes and short low notes, because I think the contrast would be nice. That would sound good, but I only knew one clef going into it, so I couldn't compose for like a quartet or even just cello, viola, or bass. So I had to do two violin parts because I didn't want to learn one clef while composing a thing at the same time, because I think that'd get kind of chaotic. So the best part was hearing the two violin parts together on the software, because originally I had been making it separate on a different software, but it wouldn't let me stick them together or make a certain number of measures, so I had to move it manually to another software. Just the worst part of the project, because I just had to redo everything that I'd already done. But I think it paid off because I was able to hear the parts together, and it was nice. Instead of imagining them, like what a note's supposed to sound like together, difference between them and stuff. I think my view of composing pieces has changed after this, because the notes don't really just fall together. You got to think about what you want your audience to hear when you're playing a piece. It's kind of, why is this note here? It doesn't belong there. Or I just need to play this note. Why is there a slur here? It's kind of annoying. That kind of stuff. And so this project has kind of helped me with, I guess, procrastination, because I used to turn stuff in at the very last moment. But with this project, I have to turn it in so that someone else can work on it and get it done before the due date. So I gotta kind of get stuff done earlier, and it kind of helps me fix that. So working with the Austin String Orchestra and UT helped my final piece and the overall quality of it, because I didn't really have a lot of musical theory knowledge, and so they pointed out where I had a fourth instead of a fifth, and that kind of harmony, or how I wanted a piece to sound, or where I should add short notes to create motion or contrast. And so I think the final piece sounds a lot better because of them, their comments and ideas and leadership, I guess. And I think this project would be helpful for high schools across the nation, in that if they didn't know their notes, but they had musical theory knowledge from this project, they'd still be able to sound good, because if you know the song's in D, you know which notes sound good in D. It's even without playing them, because they're fifths, maybe thirds. So a G might sound a lot better than an F in a piece that's in D. So you know what notes you shouldn't play, even if you don't know the notes of your piece. So I think it could really help other high schools.
Hi, my name is Garrett Beard, and the title of my piece is La Chanson de Butte. I'm a sophomore in the Global Academy at Austin High. After high school, I plan to pursue something in music, or maybe STEM. It sounds like something I'd like. Maybe medical too. I wrote this piece for my old music theory teacher. I think he would have really liked it. He always showed us pieces that sounded similar to this in class and encouraged us to write things like it. I really enjoyed writing this piece. There's one section of the song that I wrote at 2 a.m. It was a really, really big rush when I finished it. I loved it so much, and I just couldn't believe I'd done it at 2 a.m. But it wasn't easy. Adding parts as variations on the main theme, is really hard for me. It's made me a much better composer overall, though, because of that. And helped me to look at writing music and music in general in a new way, seeing the patterns in it, and things like that. But the UT professor that I worked with had a big part in that. He was the one that pushed me to write more in music and make it better. I don't think I would have gotten nearly as far if it wasn't for him. I think it's a really good thing, this project, for other high schools to adopt. Kids might learn a new skill, they will learn a new skill, and they might discover something they love that they want to pursue their whole life. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Matthew Orana, and I'm a senior in the Academy of Design and Tech at Austin High. The piece that you will be hearing is called Reflections. After high school, I plan to go to college and focusing on continuing my education in music. There weren't any main inspirations for my piece other than I wanted to create a violin piano duet and have a sort of moving, flowing type of feel to it. My favorite moment while doing this was likely the composition part, as I love to make music and getting ideas out there is definitely something I love doing. However, it was definitely a reward to be able to get to hear the final project, which you will be able to hear shortly after. While composing is one of the funnest parts, it can definitely become one of the biggest challenges that you have to overcome, as there is definitely a point of uncertainty and you don't know where to continue at points because you just reach a block where you don't know how to continue making the piece. And however, my perspective hasn't changed too much on composing and performing pieces. It has definitely showed me how to cooperate with others and become a whole lot better with communication and working online, as it isn't really the easiest thing to do while working behind a screen. Working with members of the ASO and UT have greatly helped me in this process, as whenever I was stuck or was unsure of certain parts of my piece, they were able to help guide me in the right direction, or maybe even give me ideas to reconsider. If other schools would like to try this type of project, I believe that they definitely should. They should start by even composing the smallest ideas, because it could spark an interest in composing that they never thought was possible, and could potentially lead to something bigger, to even creating your own piece. And having done this project previously, I feel like it got a little easier this year, surprisingly, as I was able to work in my own room. Obviously, I'd like to make music, and I have the resources here to be able to do so. However, in school, in person, I feel like it was a little more difficult, as sometimes I could come up with ideas mid-class, sometimes not even in orchestra, and it would be hard for me to write those things down because I just didn't have something to be able to put that idea onto. So I feel like that definitely got easier. However, there is the big issue that we didn't get to work on this in person. Maybe we didn't even get to spend as much time as we wished we had. But this is definitely a very good project, and I believe with it being difficult, it was still a great learning experience and a success. So with that, I present to you Reflections.
Hello, my name is Jack Simmons. I'm a junior at Austin High, and this is my piece called The Story of a Flame. My inspiration for writing this piece came through listening to many soundtracks of movies, quick-tempoed symphonies, and some of it really just came through what I felt would sound well. Creating this piece was a long, however, fun project that kept my team and I busy during the usual times in which we're not busy. So, without further ado, my team and I would like to play this piece for you. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Kendall Weaver. I'm a senior at Austin High School from the Academy of Science and Innovation, and I wrote the piece Nocturne for String Quartet. I will be pursuing music studies at the University of Texas this fall with Dr. Lori Scott. I was inspired by the idea of night, hence why it's called Nocturne, but I also really wanted to get this idea of cold. I had been writing it during winter break, and it was pretty cold this winter, so I was really happy at how I was able to kind of show that idea. Probably my favorite part of this project was really just hearing a group perform the piece and kind of listening to it, because you write one thing that you think sounds good, but then hearing someone actually play it, it's really different. And the most difficult part for me was coming up with the material in the first place. I went through many drafts of just music that I was like, I don't like this, I don't like that. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of notes and edits that have been changed, so I'm really happy with where it is right now. I have a newfound appreciation for composing pieces. It's challenging. I hear music every day, and I had no idea what really, truly went into composing something like that, how intricate it is. I feel like I have a new skill set for music appreciation, as well as the idea of arranging, reconstructing harmony, and just kind of understanding music more. As a future musician and future educator, that's an invaluable skill, understanding what you're teaching. The Austin Symphony and UT professors, everyone there, they've all been great. I cannot thank them enough for what they've been able to do. They have been invaluable to this process. They were just so helpful with bouncing ideas and giving unique thoughts and experiments and whatever you wanted to call it. It was just amazing. I think that this should be a staple of every high school orchestra program. It's just such a unique experience, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, no matter what part you were in. You've never really done something like this before. I did this project last year with the group. We wrote the piece It B Flat Like That, but this year was really different because of COVID, and there wasn't as much opportunity to kind of bounce ideas in an actual group setting. A lot of it was just you write and then you give it to someone else. It's not, hey, let's all get together and let's just kind of improvise on our instruments. Thankfully, I did have a group that was able to get together and record my piece live, which made it very easy to put together, but the writing process was not as easy as I had hoped. It was definitely a lot easier last year. Thank you so much. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this evening. Now, before we end off the live stream, I just want to go ahead. I want to give a couple more shout outs to some incredible people who made this event possible. It's a little bit dark outside. The lighting was good before we got started, but it's whatever. It is what it is. So, before we wrap up tonight, I want to go ahead and I want to give a huge thank you to Susan Maville from the Austin Symphony. Just incredible person. Could not have done it without you. You helped in every shape, every single possible form, and this has just been a great event. Like, this has been going on for so long, and there's been so much time and effort put in. It's been a wonderful time. I also want to give a huge shout out to our production team, which includes Athiel Arana, Sam Reynolds, Garrett Davis-Scort. Those three people really made this event possible. They helped a lot with the editing process, putting the pieces together, putting the audio tracks together, making sure that everything just came out sounding and looking really nice. And then our public relations team, Stephanie Doe, Eliza Pichet, and Jonathan Moreno. They were able to help with the public relations side of things and really put a positive image in the community for this event. So I want to thank everyone for coming out, especially the student composers and performers. This was you guys. This was to highlight your success and where you're going in life. This is just so much fun. Honestly, it's been just an amazing time. I see Mr. Jenkins in the chat. Thank you guys. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and we'll let you go at this point. So thank you. This will be uploaded after the live stream is over. So if you missed it or you know someone that missed it, you can always send them back to the same link and it will work. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. We'll see you guys shortly.